Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. And today we have two more great news stories. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. B cheated on me, so I paid for her dog food. I'm going to share my story of a girl that changed my life. Originally, it was in a good way, then it got bad, then worse, then kinda good, then really bad and soul-crushing. So here's how it begins. In the summer after my freshman year of college, I met this girl, 25, who was older than me, 19, but she and I had a lot of mutual interests, especially the games we played, so we started talking. She always seemed like the hard exterior type, and I assumed she had no interest in me, but then we started talking more and more, and I realized she was definitely attracted to me. She told me about her divorce, how he beat her and cheated on her, and my heart just melted. She was such a good person, and no one deserves that kind of treatment. Even after this whole ordeal, I still would never wish that upon her, because that's effing demoralizing and awful. We started to get closer as we talked about our past, our interests, etc. We connected a lot. It had been 6 months since the divorce, and she was just starting to feel good again, and knowing that I was a part of that made me happy to help her. Soon enough, we realized we had true feelings for each other and wanted to pursue something more than just friendship, so we did. Now here's one thing that I'm going to be honest about. This was my first serious relationship. In my past, I've been with girls and only said yes to the boyfriend-girlfriend label because they wanted to. I was just looking for some fun. But I was fine with moving forward if it meant we could still have fun. Ironically, I'd actually start to get feelings and then the relationship would wind up ending. So naturally, I had my walls up and decided to just start playing it safe. Then I met this girl. For once, it didn't start physical, it started emotional. I was getting feelings and then I started getting physical. It felt like things were going right. Hell effing no. Let's call this girl B. So B and I started off amazingly well. We'd have phone convos at night that ended with us falling asleep together, we'd have Skype dates, and we'd game together. It was getting awesome and I felt so close to her. But now here's where I should mention one thing. We never made our relationship public. She wanted to keep it low-key since she was still getting over her divorce. Well, after the breakup, I realized that she was ashamed of me, and I'm guessing it had to do with the age difference. The funny thing is, she and I talked about meeting each other's parents a lot and how it would be awesome for each of us, given our personalities. She meant so much to me, and I would talk her through all the panic attacks she'd have and try to be the best guy to her. I effed up in my previous relationships, but this time I refused. I wanted to be the good guy, the sweet guy, the great boyfriend. Hell, I remember one time she posted one of those pictures with the quote, "A good guy wakes you up at 3 a.m. to tell you he loves you," and had the "he loves you" crossed out above it saying, "with cookies and ice cream." So for our 3-month anniversary, I sent her a box of Oreo cookies and a gift card to Cold Stone, and she was so happy and whatnot about it. Okay, enough of this sappy crap. It's time to get to the bad parts. First of all, around 5 months into the relationship, she just stopped talking to me. I got real confused, but assumed that she needed her space. I would still reach out every now and then. Then on Thanksgiving, she tells me that she was relapsing with memories from her ex-husband, and I understood and told her that we'd take a break. The day after New Year, she called me crying, saying how she wanted me in her life and how she loves me. So naturally, I felt great again and said yes. 1 to 2 months into this new relationship, and I started realizing that one of the guys that used to game with us, we played GW, GW2, WOW, etc. for proper context, would always be extra raunchy with her, and she would giggle about it and be the same way back. Naturally, I wouldn't say, "Hey, F off talking to my girl like that," because we still hadn't made our relationship public yet. I would talk to her about it in private, and she told me that he was just like a brother to her, and that's all. I had some apprehension because I've been in effed up situations in the past with cheating, but I trusted her, so I'd tolerate everything that happened, and just took it on the chin. Another 3 months later, she broke up with me. I was planning on studying abroad at that point, so her breaking up with me definitely set me off on a F this crap note, and I left for London with a downtrodden state of mind. I hated the world and didn't give a crap about anyone. Once I started deciding to work out, I made friends with other guys who made it their summer goal to help me through this by showing me the proper techniques for the exercises I was doing, and even helped me gain my confidence back through this. I started meeting girls, even had some fun throughout this, and things were going well. I was finally starting to wake up in the mornings in a neutral state rather than F the world. But then I found out. Turns out that B F'd that brother friend of hers, and less than a week after I left, he actually drove down to where she lived to spend quite a lot of time with her. I hear from him directly how this had been going on for quite some time, and that he was having a great time with her. He saw me as a friend and had no idea of my relationship with B, I hope. So now I was back to F everything. My friends at the gym still helped me, but this time I was lost. I was empty. I was worthless. I thought that I was never meant to have a serious relationship. I thought this was all for nothing. And then I get a call closer to the end of the summer. I'd been working while studying abroad and had been making quite a bit of money doing it. It was helping me to know that while learning a lot, I was saving a lot too. I'd talked to her well before our breakup, when we were still talking about the possibility of moving in, and I said how I wanted to save up during the summer anyways, so at least it's for something meaningful. She was living with a relative, so she was excited at the thought of us living together. So this call was from her, telling me how her house wound up getting burned down from some electrical issue, I think a loose wire or something, and she was upset that I didn't know what to do. She even told me how her dog died. That dog was adorable and amazing. I actually felt bad for her because she was a good girl. I was just shocked. I wanted to feel terrible for her, but I was just not. The caring part of me wanted to help her. But after all this crap with her cheating and talking to this guy while taking gifts from me and ignoring me. Oh, one thing I should mention, my grandfather died during our relationship, and she didn't really console me. Like, all she did was tell me how it was much worse for her when her grandfather died and start crying and get me to console her whenever I truly needed her. And oh, she never effing told any of her friends or family about me. I just couldn't bring myself to care. I wanted to show that I was truly effing done with her, and that after all she's done for me, she doesn't deserve any of my love and caring. She asked me if I could help in any way to send her money in order to help her out. When I told her I'd think about it, she said that if possible, a check would be best and that she'd really appreciate it. That's when I realized what I could do. I wanted to be slightly subtle, vindictive, and spiteful at all the same time. While I definitely loved her dog, I know that B loved her dog so much more, so I asked her for her address and told her I'd send a check. She said thank you, then she said she had to go and hung up. Yes, exactly like that. She didn't even say bye. She literally said, I have to go now, thank you, and hung the F up. So I sent her a huge package of dog food with an attached note saying, I'm sorry for your loss. I blocked her on my phone, Facebook, and Steam after that. And move on to the next. Neighbor thinks she has a right to our cabin. My family owns a few cabins up in Michigan that we rent out throughout the year. We have one that's our main one. It's on a lake perched on a hill so you can see it from far away. My siblings and I all have kids now and are all in our 30s, so someone is usually up there from April through November with maybe a few empty weekends here and there. Our neighbors on the bottom of the hill suck. They're a couple from out west who ripped down the 2 old cottages on the land they bought and built an ugly, modern-looking home that would fit in a large city rather than on a lake. The bad thing about building such a large home is the lack of yard space, and they love to cry to us about how their kids have no backyard, and that if we could sell them some of our yard, that'd be great. Well, we love our yard. It's big enough that we've had 2 weddings there, can have a full family reunion with 100+ people, and still have room to play cornhole or other yard games without being in the way. So every time this family is asked to purchase a part of it, we say no. We do have an old chicken wire fence between the properties, and we have grass where they just have a forest floor around their home, so it's really easy to see where the 2 properties stop. So just last weekend, my dad got a call from one of our other neighbors that saw the bad neighbor up on the hill walking around our cabin with a few other people she didn't recognize. So my dad did what every homeowner would do and called the cops. He's drinking buddies with a few of them during the warmer months, so they went out to check on the place real quick. Now, this part is all from the cop Dad's friends with. Turns out, when they got there, the bad neighbor was walking around with their friends, trying to set up a kids' outdoor winter park in the snow. The cops asked if she had permission, and she lied to their faces, saying she was in the process of closing on the land and that she's ripping the cabin down to turn it into a small snow park for the area. Well, the cops told her that she was trespassing, that they were called here by the owner, and they were friends with them. I guess Bad Neighbor got really quiet and started to try to walk away, but was ticketed along with her friends for trespassing. I guess they also laid into the ladies that if a kid got hurt while they were out there illegally, they would be liable for anything, and then he said he's recommending my family put up a restraining order if she's caught up there again. This isn't the first time she's been on our property without permission. We've caught her out on our dock smoking, and she's picked a few of our veggies from the summer garden, both of which are on the other side of the hill from her. We're going up there once it gets warm enough to install more cameras, as right now we only have the ones above the doors and garages. Well, I showed my dad this, and he laughed really hard. We both agreed with everything. Who's saying we need a higher or newer fence? We do for sure. And now my dad's thinking of building a stone wall. We do have solar lights out there and motion lights above all doors, along with an alarm system. But yeah, now thinking of getting a motion-activated game cam and a spotlight down on the hill. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.